Welcome everyone to this introductory webinar sponsored by the IA&B, the Insurance Agents and Brokers, on our topic of the Insuring Careers Certification Program. Glad that you could all be a part of this and learn more about this new program for our members and customers of the IA&B. Some housekeeping items. You are all muted today, but we do want to hear from you, and you can do that with questions by entering it into the chat box, and staff is monitoring those questions. We will have some dedicated time during the webinar that's focused solely on answering questions, but feel free to pop in at any time with a question as we are monitoring that as we go through the webinar. As you've heard, this webinar is being recorded so that we can post it on our website for future reference. You may have someone else you would like to share it with, and we will include that link to you in an email later this week, and it will be posted on our website. Having said all of that, let's get started. And introducing myself, I am Tim Wonder, Vice President of Membership with IA&B. And joining me, other staff from the IA&B is Heather Ulrich. Heather is our Director of Career Services. Jess McWilliams. Jess is the Education Senior Director. And also joining us is IA&B's Education Consultant, Kathy Trishan. You will hear from Heather, Jess, and Kathy, and myself throughout this webinar. So again, thanks for joining us. Here's what we want to cover during our time together. We want to provide you some background information as to why we created this program and what we are doing with industry recruitment efforts. We will show you the various modules of the Insuring Careers Certification Program. As I said before, we want to hear from you, so please enter your questions and we will have some Q&A, and then we will wrap up. So for background as to why the Insuring Career Certification Program was started. This dates back to November of 2022 when our board of directors met to have a strategic planning session. To give you an idea, our board is made up of 20 directors. They are all independent agents, just like you, from our 3 states of Delaware, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. The primary goal for our strategy planning was to make sure that we continued to find ways to remain relevant to our member agents and our customers. And throughout that process, it was a day and a half or so, we came up with a strategic plan that would take us through 2027. I don't know if you've all participated in strategic planning in the past, but when you hire a consulting firm, they love to give you a new vision and mission statement, so you can see those posted there. Our mission is to serve as a driving force to champion independent agency success through education, consulting, advocating, and fostering community in our 3 states and beyond. But really what we want to focus on is the 5 strategic goals that came out of that planning. Goals 2 through 5 are really the ones that are geared more for the members and the customers, which is to expand our education offerings, develop an insurance school, recruit to the industry, and provide consulting services for our members. So we began work as a staff and working closely with the board on those goals, and we identified the insurance school and industry recruitment as the first 2 goals that we would focus our attention on. The insurance school is to create a training program for those that are new to the insurance industry that prepares them as professionals ready to hire. And the second on industry recruitment, to attract diverse new talent through localized recruitment campaigns with community partners. We began the work on loosely calling it the insurance school in 2023, and it's been a work in progress for at least a good 18 months, if not more than that. At some point through the process, we did a lot of member research. We had some focus groups with members. Some of you may have participated in those. We do thank you because all of that information helped us create the modules and the training program that we then rebranded the school to be known as the Insuring Careers Certification Program. Internally, we call it the ICCP. Again, focusing on the goal of creating a training program for those new to the industry. So this program is designed to take someone from a zero to a hero, or as I like to say, we'll teach them to spell insurance, you teach them to sell insurance. There are three primary modules or sections of the training. The introductory section, which is again the basic introductory or 101 of insurance, followed by preparation to get that individual licensed in their specific state and the state's licensing exam. We will help them and get them through passing the exam. And after they pass the exam and get licensed, they can continue on with the modules in a deeper dive into policy language, interpretation, understanding property and casualty from a PL, personal lines, commercial lines perspective. And then there's also a pathway to some soft business skills. Jess and Kathy are going to demonstrate or show you some of those modules in a moment, but that is a high level overview of the ICCP. This program is self-paced and completely online. Once a student enrolls in the program, they have up to 6 months to complete all of the modules and get licensed. We believe an individual could get through it as quick as 3 months. And that includes what we believe is necessary time to study, self-study for the pre-licensing portion of in preparing for the state exam, which we think a good time is 30 days. That's a good time frame. So 3 to 6 months with at least that time, 30 days dedicated towards studying for the state exam. And with all of that, those preparations in place, our track record shows that students have great success in achieving exam success through that plan. There are 37 modules, and again, Jess will show you those in a moment, that make up the introductory, the deeper dive into the insurance skills, and the soft business skills. And the cost of the program we have set for the first year, guaranteed through all of 2025, at $1,500. And that price does include the cost of the licensing study guide, which is a couple of $100 in and of itself. So having given you that high level overview, I'm going to turn things over to Jess, and I'm going to have Jess walk you through a little bit more information about each of these sections.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I guess at this point it's good afternoon. As Tim mentioned, we have built 37 modules of education, and each of those modules is between 45 minutes and an hour. Our curriculum is based, as Tim said, on our long history of offering licensing exam prep and education, as well as extensive member surveys and focus groups. We took what we learned from those focus groups and we worked with our content developer, Kathy Trishan, as well as an instructional design team. I was playing with some numbers this morning, Kathy, and I don't even know if this is going to surprise you, but you've spent over 350 hours developing the content, which equates to just about 10 hours of development for 1 hour of finished product. Many of you are probably familiar with Kathy from attending any of our CISR, CIC, or general topic webinars. And from that, you know that she knows her stuff. So working with her on this project was absolutely a no-brainer for us. Kathy, I know it was a big project. You're probably wondering when it will end, but out of that, I just wanted to get your input and what it was about the program and our vision that made you want to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you, Jess, and welcome everyone. I am so excited to finally be talking about this program, not just writing this program. It was such an honor for me to have been invited to be a part of this process, and I loved the vision that IA&B had. So many programs that are out there that are designed to help people who are new to the industry focus on just one aspect, maybe helping them get ready to pass a licensing exam. But that's such a very small part of the picture. We start by introducing them to many basics of insurance before they even get to pre-licensing, so they feel invested in it and they feel prepared. And then such detailed insurance training on the technical side. These are not high-level overview courses where someone comes out not really understanding how to work in the insurance industry. I'm excited that we were able to bring high quality content. They are seeing policy language. They're going to come out of these programs understanding how our policies work with tips and endorsements and things that most of us don't learn until we've been in the insurance business for a number of years. And it's presented in such a way that it's not overwhelming. And then we look at the skills training. You can learn as much as you need to know about insurance and be the most technically proficient person out there. But if you can't express those ideas to an insured, if you can't negotiate with an underwriter, all of those technical skills are much less important. So I love that we are preparing our participants to really hit the ground running when they get to an insurance agency. They're going to have that background that they need.
Awesome. Thank you. As I had also mentioned, in addition to working with Kathy as our content developer, we also work with an instructional design team that took all of the knowledge that Kathy prepared and turned it into an interactive, on-demand, professional module of education. We wanted to be sure that we weren't just putting the information on the screen, but that it was being displayed in formats that were best suited for adults who are learning, and that the modules would be interactive. Kathy, another question for you just to get your input because you've got a long history of being in the agency and you've been in insurance education for so long. How do you think the presentation of the material enhances the program?
These modules are absolutely beautiful. I don't know how the instructional design team did what they did, but these are interesting. They're enjoyable to watch. I've watched so many classes where it's just pictures of slides and speakers speaking. And the way that this content has been put together, it gets a learner excited about the material. And that's what we want for people who are new in the business. We want them to be excited about it. And this presentation really does that. It also is interactive, it's self-paced. They can go back and forth and revisit topics that they might want a little more clarity on. So many examples, so many stories. And as a speaker, I know that's really what helps people learn. So I just love the way that this is presented and put together.
And honestly, I don't know if all of us wake up in the morning saying that insurance is beautiful, but I couldn't have said it better. They're actually stunning. I was surprised when I saw them. So I hope y'all take a chance to take a look at that. Let's take a few minutes. We're going to go ahead to the next slide and drill down into the content a little bit so you get a better understanding of how it flows. So we know that, I think even Kathy just said it, exam prep is daunting. And for somebody completely new to the industry, it can be completely overwhelming. For that reason, we felt that it was imperative that we give them something before jumping right into the exam prep. So we built 4 modules that are completed before they even open the textbook for the exam prep. This allows the individuals to be acclimated to the new terms of the world of insurance at a much slower pace so that the exam prep is much more digestible. After they do the 4 introductory segments, they will go right into their exam prep. Again, all the material we provide is available in self-study and online. And we do, as Tim said, suggest you take a full 4 weeks to prepare for that exam. You can cram for 24 hours a day, but likely you're not going to retain that. So we recommend breaking it up into 30 days so that you can digest each of the pieces. Then upon completion of the exam, we move on to the next 26 modules, which become available to them only after they pass the exam. We didn't want to overwhelm everybody and get them confused and where to go in the program. So each new section opens up only when they complete the section before. So they started with the introductory, then they get access to the licensing, then the next section of 26 modules opens up, and that's all of the additional insurance education. And we can just take a look at that. Like Kathy said, Tim, yeah, there we go. Kathy said, we don't go high level. If we went high level, we wouldn't have three different sections on homeowners and business auto. We go very, very deep. So we cover all of the personal lines, all of the commercial lines, as well as dipping our toes into some of the errors and omissions, because we know that that drives everything in the agency, the documentation, claims handling, umbrella. And then we are also putting in there the personal lines and commercial lines underwriting basics and a client interview. So the students can see how an interview would take place, the questions that should be asked, the questions that are often not asked that need to be asked, and ways to go through that process. And then upon completion of those 26 modules, again, they've completed that set, we now open up the next 7 modules, which is the skills training. And you can see there we are touching on things from overcoming challenges in negotiations and the fundamentals of negotiations. And I think we could all use this one, time management 1 and 2, as well as communication, effective communication in verbal and email, and then problem solving in difficult conversations. Then upon completion of all of those modules, there will be a final 100 question exam to gauge the student's retention of the concepts. This test is not the state test. This is just to see how they retain the information from their 37 modules. They've completed the program, and it is the final step then to get their certification. What you're seeing here is a snippet from the step-by-step guide that is provided to each participant. So upon registration, the participant will get an online or an email confirmation. In addition, we would send them a welcome packet, and that packet includes their state licensing materials, as well as a step-by-step guide so that they know exactly how to work through the program. As you can see, we've broken it up into 5 steps to keep it very clean. We've got the 4 online modules for step 1, then licensure step 2, the additional insurance training, step 3, and the business skills training as the final step of the online modules, and then the final exam. And yep, I'm sorry, just checking here, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. We are going to have plenty of time for questions here in a little bit, but the next slide you're going to see is this is available on our website, and we are going to launch a little snippet of one of the modules. Now, I do want to preface this by saying this is one of the introductory modules. So this is something that they would see before they even went to pre-licensing. And I feel it's important to say that because it's going to seem very basic to many of you, because many of you are licensed longtime producers. So I didn't want you to think that this was one of the in-depth modules where we're digging deep. This is the intro to insurance, and something that they would see very first when they enter this program.
Upon completion of this section, you will be able to explain what insurance is and why it is important. What is insurance? Insurance is a tool to protect individuals and businesses from financial loss. Here are just a few examples of how insurance can do that. Life insurance can protect a family from financial hardship if a working parent, for example, dies. That parent's income is no longer coming into the household. In addition, there may be expenses for childcare and other services that a parent provided for the family. Health insurance can also protect a family from financial hardship. If a family member has a serious illness, costs for medical care can be staggering. Property insurance can protect individuals or businesses from financial loss. Imagine that you have worked for years building your restaurant business. It is now a successful operation providing income for you and for your employees. A fire seriously damages the building. Without insurance to pay to repair the building, your business would likely close. Imagine now that a customer comes into your restaurant and slips on the floor, breaking a leg. That customer might sue you. And if it is determined that it is your fault the customer slipped, maybe a mat by the door wasn't properly secured, the amount you might be required to pay to the injured customer could be more than you can afford. Again, your business is in danger of closing. Our focus in this program is on property insurance and liability, or casualty insurance. We often say P&C to refer to property and casualty insurance. It is important to understand, though, that there are many types of insurance that share this common goal of protecting individuals and businesses from financial loss. Insurance policies are contracts between an insurance company and an individual or business. The buyer of insurance is often referred to as the insured or the policyholder, and the insurance company is often referred to as the insurer. Contracts must include consideration. This means that each party gives up something of value. The insured pays the premium. The insurer promises to pay claims covered by the policy. Insurance involves the sharing of risk.
So that kind of gives you an idea of how the look and feel of the modules. They're all very similar, and as Jess said, that is one of the introductory modules that is part of this. Appreciate Jess and Kathy with that overview. If you have any questions for them, please enter it into the chat. We'll be glad to take those at this time. But we wanted to let you know, first and foremost, that this program is up and running. It started at the beginning of 2025. So for those that are watching this as a recorded webinar, today's around the 27th of January. We launched this January 2nd. We currently have 7 students in the program, 6 of which have come from member agencies. So they are new hires to an agency, and we are hearing feedback from those agency owners, that we have taken that training, that 101 training, off of their plate. And so that allows them to onboard them in other ways at the agency, knowing that the insurance side is being covered by their association, IA&B. And because they can do it at their own pace and in their own time, they have additional time to work in some other onboarding at the agency as they get their feet under them as a new employee to this industry. So, and then the other registrant that's enrolled in the program is someone that Heather recruited. We'll talk about that in a moment, but she is a career changer and is looking for a new opportunity. And we're looking forward to getting her through the program and connecting her with our member agents. So I see we have maybe some questions coming in. We'll wait a second or so for others. Jess, am I missing anything there?
Nope, we're good so far.
Okay. Again, we'll take questions as we go through, but let's transition into the industry recruitment side of our strategic goal. Remember, I mentioned there were 2 goals that we were focusing on. One was the creation of the insurance school, and the second is focused on industry recruitment. That is to attract diverse new talent to our industry. And when the board set this as a strategic initiative and staff started working on this, we came to realize that we did not have a staff person with the skill set to really do this and give this the attention that it needed. So our board committed the resources to make a new hire, and we created the position description for the Director of Career Services and did an extensive search, and we found an absolute rock star, and her name is Heather Ulrich. Heather started with us in December of 2023, so it's only been about 13, 14 months. And her primary goal and responsibility is to create those relationships with community partners. And so I want you to hear from Heather, kind of give her perspective as to where we are looking for this new talent as we recruit it to the industry. Heather?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to come and learn a little bit more about Insuring Careers. So this slide right here is kind of a nice visual for you as far as 3 of our buckets of who we are looking to tap into to try to recruit not only to the industry, but also to the ICCP. So career changers, we're definitely interested in. What comes to mind initially, of course, is, teachers, perhaps people in the nonprofit realm. That was previously me. People who are just kind of burnt out in the industry and looking for a new change. We also have then graduates as well. So we primarily are looking at, college and career fairs for people over 18 and who have graduated high school, but we're not leaving the high school students out completely, because getting to them sooner and kind of laying that groundwork sooner, we think that that's going to pay dividends. So planting those seeds early is really important to us. The third bucket we have is reentry. So whenever we say that, what we're really thinking about is anyone who has any kind of meaningful gap on their resume, where they might not have been hired, but they're certainly doing a lot of productive work in their community or in their homes. So we're looking at stay-at-home parents, military members, military spouses, people who are just coming back into the civilian workforce, so to speak. And then a fourth bucket that we have, that is a little different to our other three categories, is the independent agencies themselves. So, of course, this webinar is a great way for us to make sure that you're understanding of what we have going on and what we're offering as far as insuring careers. But we want to make sure that we're accessible to you, that I'm able to touch base with you, whether that's a phone call or an email or a Teams meeting in the future, to just answer any of your questions and make sure that you are aware of this as you onboard and hire new staff, or as you're continuing to consider to do that. Can I press the button, or do you have to press the button next? Oh, you got it.
I've
Okay.
already advanced. There you go.
Sorry. So the industry recruitment, so what we're looking for as far as, people who have not been in the industry, people who are green to insurance. I'm going to be specifically going and doing recruiting activities. And then what we're looking for in that is their commitment to join the Insuring Careers Certification Program and go through that on their own. So there's no affiliation with a member agency at this point. These people are brand new to the industry. So we train them, obviously, they pay the tuition, and then they go through the entire process, all of the modules, and then they come out a graduate. At that juncture, what we're planning to do and what we've been building is an exclusive job board where our member agencies are able to look at people who have graduated the program. And likewise, also the people who graduated the program are able to look at hiring member agencies. So while we're not doing anything in the way of placing people, student X is going here, we want there to be a level of visibility so that our students end up in, great agencies. So that's a little dive into the job board. They will be able to post their resumes. Oops, sorry about that. And like we said, that's exclusive just to our member agencies. So that's not any hiring Joe Schmo on the street who was looking for candidates. It's exclusively IA&B members. And then we also have our second track, which is industry recruitment. So that looks like you have already, as the agency owner, you've made that hire, and you are looking to kind of take some of that workload off of your plate. So this would be a great fit for you, for someone who is green to insurance and you want them to be more knowledgeable than, let's just say, they would get in pre-licensing, in studying and just taking the test. So in that case, then your hire would go through the program. Something worth considering, and of course it's not mandatory, but it's something that could give you a competitive edge here that I do want to call out. You could always offer to reimburse. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me back up for that. So I got a little bit lost here. I apologize. So as far as the graduates who do not have any affiliation with agencies and they're on the job board, you find someone and you make that connection, and let's say you offer them a position. This could give you something, a little bit of a leverage or a competitive edge. You could always offer, as a condition of their employment, to reimburse them the tuition for them going through the ICCP. Of course, that's not a mandatory thing, but it would be something that, would help take a little bit of a financial burden off that individual that you then recruit to your office. The second option are, of course, then the students who are employed or sponsored by you. So you make the hire. There's no recruitment effort on our end. And what we want to just specify here is those individuals, your hires that you make, they stay with you. So they're not placed on the job board. They're not opened up to all of the rest of the agency owners. They just stay exclusively with you. So fear not, it's not something that they're going to get put on there. But that's a second way that people are going to be coming and becoming familiar with the ICCP. So people that I graduate or I'm sorry, people that I recruit, and then agencies that bring students into the program themselves. Just a little bit of a deeper dive as far as where we're putting our recruitment efforts. And of course, this is across all 3 states. We do want to be fair. So of course, number one, job and career fairs. We've done a quite extensive outreach with career links, and then their various counterparts in Maryland and Delaware. These are a great opportunity because a lot of the times they do give veterans preference whenever they are job searching. So that would give us that military component that we're really looking to tap in and recruit. Of course, college career fairs as well. I am slowly learning my way through the handshake universe. That was not something that I had whenever I graduated from college. But it shows kind of a nice high level overview of all of the schools that have career fairs, whether that's a fall or a spring one. It helps us keep tabs and not kind of miss anything. Then outside of the outreach to veterans, maybe through like a career link hiring event, we're also doing some specific there are various military job fairs that are exclusive for people and who are in active military or their spouses. They have virtual and in-person ones. So we are also putting that on our radar to see if that's something that's worthwhile for us. Are we going to find a lot of good candidates here that we could put into the Insuring Careers Certification Program? We're also looking into state agencies who assist with career services. And then, of course, if there is anything that comes up, whether it's through, a chamber event or any other thing that you could think of that might be worthwhile, just a regular community resource fair, whatever, please feel free to let us know, shoot me an email, and we would definitely love to consider that as we kind of continue to build up, hopefully, a really robust network of events and channels that we can find new talent. So this is another deeper dive into our website, which I do definitely encourage you to look at. What we're really promoting to individuals who are considering insurance as a career and also engaging in the ICCP. Of course, we promote the flexible schedule, professional pay, job security, and growth potential. And then we kind of dig into those 4 pillars a little bit more and let people know that, insurance isn't going anywhere. Jobs in insurance aren't going anywhere. And we are confident that this is a really great career move, whether it's a change in career or it's a brand new career for an individual. And then lastly, this is just a snippet of the incredible work that our marketing department has been doing. Again, we're really trying to make sure that we're highlighting that flexible pay, the job security, especially, in today's market. That's something that people really want to find comfort in. And then we have various infographics and flyers. So you can see that as an example here with the little orange bar as well. We just try to kind of give them a high level snapshot and then encourage them to reach out and connect and ask any questions that might come up. So this is just a little sample of kind of all of the things that we have in the way of trying to capture people's attention and direct them to the ICCP. And with that, I will ask Tim, did I miss anything, or is there anything else you want me to lean into?
You got it all, I believe. If you have any questions for Heather, certainly enter it into the chat. And like I said, Heather's been with us since the end of 23. Spent most of 24 getting her feet under herself with the industry. And in fact, I said we had 7 students in the program. And in fact, I technically am wrong on that, incorrect. We have 8 because Heather was our very first student. She piloted all of the modules. She had no insurance background whatsoever. She worked through all the modules as Jess and Kathy completed them. She did go through the Pennsylvania licensing exam, passed it on the first try, thanks to the IA&B training material, and has also then worked through the rest of the modules. So she's testament, and really it's been great because she's been able to talk to potential students firsthand with her own experience as to what the program is like. She's been in several independent agencies in our three states, so she's had an opportunity to learn some of the language and see some of the culture, and has really become a firsthand experienced a veteran, if you will, after 1 year of this great industry. So again, if you have any other questions, add them into the chat. Jess, anything come in before I go on?
Yeah, a couple questions here. One specifically, do we have any marketing materials directed more to military folks that we could share from the agency perspective?
That is a great question. That's not something that we have yet, especially because this year is really our learning year too. So while we are hoping that the events that are just specifically for military candidates are going to be successful, we just don't know yet. And they do come at a pretty high price point as well. Also, their recruitment events. So I think that that's something that would be in the pipeline, but designated just to individuals in the military, we don't have anything just for them yet.
And Tim, probably a question for you. Polly is asking, are the 7 students recruited by IA&B or are they current member agency employees?
That's a great question. Let me clarify. Yeah, so 6 of the 7 have come to us from existing member agencies. They are new hires to those agencies. I think we have 5 agencies that have sent us students that are new hires. So those 6 students, like we said before, are going to stay with that agency once they complete the program. So all of them are in the stage right now where they are studying for their state licensing exam. And again, you have to pass the exam before you continue on with the other portions of the modules. And then one student did come to us. Actually, it was a referral from a member agency, simply because the individual had asked a lot of questions about what a career in insurance was like. And that agency said, "Oh, you need to contact IA&B." Well, they contacted us. We got them connected with Heather, a few phone calls and conversations, and I think one breakfast later, she was all gung ho about being enrolling herself into the ICCP, and potentially she will be our first individual that will end up on the job board as like we say, like to call it a free agent, with to have the opportunity to look at the agencies that are hiring, and what would be a perfect fit for her.
We do have a few more questions. I can take this one. How many hours do we estimate it would take someone to complete the program? That's kind of fluid, and a lot of that depends on what, if they're coming from your agency, what time you're going to allow them to work on it during the day, or if it's just on their own. With the 37 modules, each module is between 45 minutes and 1 hour. Now, that is if you just watch it straight through. You may go back and have to review a section, or you want to review something to get a little bit more input. So that's a little fluid. In addition, we do recommend that full 30 days for the study that we recommend. So I think, Tim, we had looked at it and thought 3 months would be the shortest amount of time we would recommend anybody trying to go through it, but we do give everybody up to 6 months. And we do have some more questions here. Do participants in the ICCP receive a mentor or program contact at IA&B during the program? And Tim, I think you're going to touch on that later, correct?
I will touch upon that
Okay.
just before we wrap up. Sure.
Okay, we'll hold on to that one then, April. And let me see here. Okay, good question. Once the students are licensed, are the courses that they take following passing the exam, eligible for continuing education credits? And the answer to that is no. And there's a couple reasons. In a lot of our focus groups, we had asked the question, do you feel the need for this to be continuing education credits? This would be for the additional insurance and the business skills after the fact. And most of the people, a strong majority, said no. They have so many other ways that they can get the continuing education. We're not concerned about that. We just need them to be up and running. So we did go with no CE. A couple reasons to support that is because this is all on demand, for this to be accredited for continuing education, there would be an additional test for each one of those modules. And each state is a little different. Some of the states, even for an hour of education, you need a 25-question test. So we felt that it would become a deterrent for going through this program to be earning the continuing education. In addition, even though we're diving deep into the policy, some of this can still be considered introductory because it's just post-licensing and learning about the policy. So a couple reasons behind, but at this point, they are not approved for continuing education. Yeah, I don't think I missed any. Heather, oh, here, Heather, one for you and Tim. Recognition that we may not know the answer to this yet, but how will we handle interviews and contacts with the new candidates and the IA&B members who would be the new talent? Are we taking any part in that interview process?
No, so that process would be our role is to just be a matchmaker, to be a conduit, to introduce you to the graduates of the program. And again, it's a two-way street. The job board will have a feature where graduates can see agencies that have posted their open positions. But at that point, we step out of that process. We will be giving every student that graduates a nice certificate, so they will have proof that they've completed the program. And of course, as we've said, as they go through this, there will be an aspect where they can't advance through every step until they've completed it. So once they finish and graduate, get a certificate, that's when the job board would open up to them. We'll continue to enter some questions into the chat. I'll address April's question here, and which is about mentoring. Certainly, the program is self-paced. It's online. There's that time where you have to take to self-study and go through the licensing textbook. But really, what we believe makes the ICCP unique is that we are a team ready to help and be a mentor or a guide to your new employees as they go through this program. Heather, if you have any questions overall about the program, she is your conduit. Consider her like the concierge. There's her email. All of this is also on our website, but her phone number and her direct dial. Any general questions about the program, whether it's how you would go about recruiting, how we can help you with that, or what we're doing with industry recruitment or anything related to the program, Heather is your contact person. If you know specifically your questions are related to content of a specific module, you can bypass Heather and you can go right to Jess, and Jess will work with Kathy and get you the answers to those questions. And there's Jess's contact information. And not on the webinar as a panelist, but as a participant at this time is Sue Zavorsky. Sue is our guru when it comes to everything related to licensing. So if you have questions about the licensing process, anything that's in the licensing material, if you have an employee that is having a difficult time passing the exam, Sue is the right person to speak to. And of course, if you contact Heather, Heather will funnel you over to Jess or to Sue or to the right person to answer any of your questions. So we are here. They are not going through this alone. We are here for them to help them reach and achieve success in the program. And just a quick fun fact, between Sue, Jess, myself, and Heather, the newbie, we have 99 years of IA&B experience. We've been doing it a long time. So we are resources for you. Please use us, and we look forward to working with you as you have new hires, or we can connect you to those that we've recruited to the industry. So any other final questions that you have of the team? Anything come in since we were last doing Q&A there, Jess?
Just some comments on the age potentially of us. Since you shared that Heather was only here for a year, that kind of leaves 98 years to be split between the three of us. So
Yeah, we and Bob, we all started right out of high school.
no, I think we've covered all the questions that have come in. I did reply to some individually just because they were very specific questions. So if there's any others, please put them in there.
You have our contact information. I'll put this back up. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Heather. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your interest in the Insuring Career Certification Program. We certainly are looking forward to working with you to attract new talent to this industry and to help you train your new hires as well. So we do appreciate your time. We wish you a happy, healthy, prosperous, and successful 2025 and look forward to working with you. So thanks all, and everyone be well.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.